Welcome. My name is Orla McGrail and I'm an accountant based in Dublin. I'm going to take you through this video which will focus on your approach to your exam resit. The fact that you're resitting an exam means that you have failed one, and that is never easy. I first failed my exams when I was in my second year of training contracts, and the day I found out, I went to my favourite coffee shop before work and had a few cakes to give myself the courage to go in and face my colleagues. My boss spoke to me that day and he asked how I had gotten on, like he didn't already know. And I told him that I was very disappointed and that I had failed. Then what he said was, "If this is your biggest failure or disappointment in life, I think you should count yourself lucky." And those words resonate with me, because although you are now facing a resit, if this is the biggest disappointment you're going to face in your life, you will be very lucky. So now let's focus on your approach to the resit. Thomas Edison once said that he didn't fail. He said that he had found 10,000 ways that didn't work. And that is true with the exam. So when I failed, it showed me that my exam technique and that my study technique were not up to scratch and that they weren't working. So I had to go back and assess my approach. This is a case of working smarter, not harder. You're already familiar with the material of the subject, so now it's time to work smarter. So by working smarter, what does this mean? Okay, so the exam that you failed, you need to get your hands on that exam report. They're all available on the ACCA website. Go through the examiner's report for your exam. And then, if you haven't already, start reading through the other examiners' reports. These reports are invaluable because they contain all of the areas that students like yourself had difficulty with. And often it can quite clearly pinpoint where maybe you couldn't. So it pinpoints your areas of students' weaknesses. And these are areas that are likely to be tested again and again. So read the examiner's reports and then focus on those areas highlighted in the examiner's reports. Next, go through the syllabus. You should already be familiar with the syllabus from your earlier studies. But again, go through it. Find the areas that you maybe aren't as familiar with, maybe you had difficulty with. Start going through exam questions in these areas and finding the areas that maybe need more work, more revision. Again, working smarter, not harder. You don't need to go through the entire syllabus. You've already put work into this exam. Next, you're going to look at the areas with us, on LearnSignal. Go back through a few of the videos on the areas that you found difficult. LearnSignal offers bite-sized learning. Do not cram for this. Never cram for a subject. If you were going to start a fitness challenge and you wanted to run a marathon next year, you wouldn't run for 6 hours every month and then nothing. You wouldn't spend 6 hours in one day running and then nothing for 30 days. You would start slowly and you would work consistently on your fitness. Study and exams are the same. You can't expect your brain to absorb everything you throw at it in 6 hours when you haven't cracked open a book or even looked at the LearnSignal website in a few weeks. Every day, short, sweet, consistent, and your brain will retain it. So start watching the videos in the areas that you're weak in and start doing the short and multiple choice questions that are after it. They're going to really get your brain engaged. They're going to let the information settle. So next, exam papers, exam papers, exam papers. Do as many questions as you can get your hands on. as many short questions and as many long questions. Now, the examiner's reports will mention specific questions that people fell down on. And from reading most of the exam reports in a lot of subjects, the consistent theme that I'm seeing is students have difficulty applying what they have learnt to real life situations. So you need to focus on this style of question if this is your area of difficulty. Next, you need to put yourself in exam conditions. Your knowledge mightn't have been the problem of why you failed. It could have been your exam technique, your timing, your exam question management. All of these need to be addressed. So you need to start working on your exam technique and working sooner, not later. Start doing exam questions under exam conditions. So, for example, if you're going to, say you have half an hour, you could do 10 short MCQs, or you could just do one question which needs half an hour in the exam. Do that question in exam conditions, read and then see how you did. By the time the exam comes around, you'll be used to working under exam pressure. So, best of luck in your resit. It's a case of working smarter, not harder. Don't cram. Read the examiner's reports and practice exam questions. Exam questions are so important because they're going to test two things. They're going to make you test your knowledge of the subject area and reinforce it. And then the second thing is they're going to reinforce a good exam technique. You should be getting the questions done easily in exam time at home because you're in your own surroundings. You don't have the added pressure of an exam hall. So your timing should be focused on, and the exam questions will help. So the best of luck in your resit. I don't want to see you watching this video again, and good luck.